and welcome to Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park, one of the most beautiful places on earth and also listed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you're planning visiting Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park and you love photography and filming, then this video is for you. In the background you can see the Uluru, and it's a large sandstone monolith, also known as Ayers rock, and it's definitely higher than the Eiffel Tower and has a diameter of 9 kilometers. By the way, Ayers rock is actually the name the English colonists gave this beautiful place. But we say Uluru because Uluru is the name of the Anango people who are living here. So this is why we prefer saying Uluru and also Kata Tjuṭa and not the August. But if you may know the other name, might be because of this. So the best time to come to Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park, well, actually you can come anytime you want. So every season is actually fine, but I do not recommend summer. Because in summer it's getting very, very hot. And a lot of walks, tracks, they might get even closed due to the heat. Because it's very hot, and also you will struggle even with more flies. I'm here now in winter and I have a lot of flies here. In summer it's definitely getting worse. So in summer you need a protection for the flies, that you don't have the flies really flying into your face. And also if you do the walks, in summer for example, you can only go to the national parks in the morning or really in the evening when it's not that hot, because sometimes they get up to more than 35 degrees and this is definitely too hot here to go walking or hiking, so we do not recommend summer. From September to April, you will have this issue with a lot of flies. I'm now here in June and there are a lot of flies here. But September to April is definitely the worst time if you don't like flies. The best time to visit might be May until end of August or even September, when it's getting a little bit cooler and when you have less flies. So then you can even go during the day to the Uluru and Kata Tjuṭa and do the walks, because temperatures may get up to, let's say, 20 degrees. It can get pretty cold in winter time. During the night we had maybe 0 degrees, 5 degrees, but better too cold when you can put a jacket on than too hot during the day and you're not able to do this walk. As we are here in the red center of Australia, well, arriving by car might be a little bit long. So wherever you come from, if you come from Sydney, from Melbourne or even Perth, be careful about the long distances, especially if you're not coming from Australia, so you might not get used to the distance. It is possible to get here by car, but I would recommend actually take an airplane and get a car here, then you're only completely independent. You can rent a car at the airport directly. It's pretty close, everything. You can imagine there's an airport, then you have the Ayers Rock Resort, which is like 8 minutes by car. And from the Ayers Rock Resort to the Uluru, to the first spot, it's only 10 to 15 minutes. To the Kata Tjuṭa, you have a longer way, up to, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes, depending on where you're going exactly. So the Ayers Rock Resort, you can imagine, is like a little village for tourists. They have, I think, up to 6 accommodations there. They have restaurants, they have a small supermarket, they even have a post office. So they have actually whatever you need for a couple of days, which is pretty cool. At the Ayers Rock Resort, you find different types of hotels. There are very cheap hotels, well, cheap. Let's say the Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park, this place is not cheap at all, but you get from 3-star hotel to 5-star hotel, almost everything. And even a very luxury hotel, which is not situated at an Ayers Rock Resort, but a little bit outside, which is very luxury. And you have also souvenir shops, you have a small supermarket, you have everything what you need over there. To move around here at Uluru and Kata Tjuṭa National Park, there are 2 options. First, you can rent a car if you want to, and believe me, from those who are coming from a place or a country where you're driving on the right side of the road, and I'm saying on the right side, not on the left side on the road, then it's not very tricky driving on the left side of the road. It's easy driving here, and they even, when you come from the airport, they tell you you have to be careful and drive on the left side. So renting a car is really a great opportunity to move around to the national parks really without being dependent on anybody else. If you don't want to drive by yourself, you can also book the hop-on, hop-off transfer, which is a very cool opportunity. You can book it for several days, even a family ticket, where you can use it and go to the park and back as often as you want. To enter the Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park, you need a park pass. For 3 days, it's 38 Australian dollars. And if you're staying longer than 3 days, then you can also take another 1 or 3 days. Concerning the length of the stay, 3 days is not enough. Definitely. If everyone's saying, okay, 3 days, 2 days, no, that's not enough. I would recommend at least 5 days because there are so many things which you can do here at the Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park. So many excursions, so many experiences that 3 days is never enough. There are a lot of amazing excursions what you can do here at Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park. For example, what's really amazing for the first evening would be, for example, the sunset tour where you'll be picked up by bus and they bring you to a sunset point where you can see the Uluru, which is really shining orange. You get some drinks, some cheese, some snacks. And that was really, for me personally, one of the best welcoming here at Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park. One of my highlights was definitely the Wintjiri Wiru drone show, which is basically a show with drones, a lot of lights, which is a story of the Anangu people who are living here, and they want to show us this story, to tell it to the world so that this story will never be forgotten. It's an amazing light show, and I personally can't describe this feeling when you're sitting there, you get the Uluru in the background and you see the drone show, the lights, the story with the music. It touched my heart. It was wonderful. Another highlight was definitely the helicopter tour. When we've been for sunset, getting until the Kata Tjuṯa, then to the Uluru, and we've seen the Uluru orange to sunset. That was amazing, an amazing helicopter ride, which I can highly recommend. There are a lot of more excursions, like specific walks where you can learn more about the Anangu people, which is the indigenous culture here at Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park, but also special dinner experiences or special breakfast experiences. There are so many things what you can do. What I also did was the Field of Light, which is also very nice to see. It's a field with a lot of lights, which has been created by an English artist, and was really beautiful to be seen. Talking a little bit about the history of Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park, well, it's a sandstone monolith and it's really a million of years old. But what's really interesting as well is also the culture. Here, this is the land of the Anangu people. Anangu means people in their original language, and we have still around about 4,000 Anangu people living here. The story of the Uluru Kata Tjuṯa National Park is a little bit, well, it's very sad actually, because it was owned by Anangu people until round about late of the 19th century, when the white Europeans came to Australia and actually took this land for themselves. So there were a lot of fights between white Europeans / Australians and the Anangu people. 40 years ago, in 1985, they found an agreement. They gave back this land to the Anangu people, where it originally comes from actually. And they found an agreement that people can visit this wonderful place, but of course with some limitations. Can you imagine that until 2019 it was even allowed to climb up to the Uluru, which I basically find not okay, because this is a sacred place. This place is so important for the Anangu people, and I'm happy that in 2019 they forbidden to climb up to this beautiful sandstone monolith. This is why it's so important to respect this place here, because it belongs to the Anangu people. They've been fighting a lot to get this land back. So there are, for example, several sites which are called the sensitive sites where you cannot take photos. Obviously, you take care of your trash, you bring your trash back home. You're not allowed, obviously, to get off the path. I mean, this is for me something which is a common sense. But anyway, they have to say it, and we need to be respectful. We have to be actually grateful to have the chance to see this beautiful place. So there are a couple of do's and don'ts here in the national park. For example, when it comes to photography, you're not allowed to take photos of specific places of the Uluru and Kata Tjuṭa. They are called the sensitive sites. The good thing is that they say where is a sensitive site. Obviously, it's not allowed to take photos without permission of the Anangu people. This is common sense for me. So, and what a lot of people do not know actually is if you want to take photos, if you use it for your private purpose, that's absolutely fine. But if as soon as you want to publish the photos, you need a media permit. That means you have to pay for it to be allowed to publish them online. You can ask for this permit online. Everything is written on the website, which is very, very practical. And people who organize this are very nice. I had a very good experience and I felt very welcome. They helped me a lot, also telling me where I can go for beautiful places to take photos and videos, to be careful, because Anangu people do not want specific places to be published online. Then concerning the photo spots, there are several spots of the Uluru and the Kata Tjuṭa where you can take photos, which is not a sensitive site. And I have been twice to the sunrise places of the Uluru and the Kata Tjuṭa, which is over there. And it was very nice, but for me personally, not a must. Because when I see the sunrise, I really wanted to see the Uluru and Kata Tjuṭa orange. But you don't see this on sunrise. So the spots where you can take the photos for sunrise and sunset, for example, they are given on the map. So they give you a map where you can see this is the sunrise area where you can take the photos of sunrise. By the way, it's getting very, very crowded. They also give you the spots for the sunset, for example. They also give you the map and they show you where you can see the spots for the sunrise and also for the sunset. Concerning the sunset of the Uluru was absolutely amazing because all the photos you see online in magazines or wherever of the orange sandstone monolith are just amazing. And there is a sunset spot which is absolutely amazing. You just have to keep in mind that there are a lot of people going there. That means for the sunrise, it's crowded, like it's insane. There are so many people, so if you want to take photos of the sunrise, you better get at least half an hour before sunrise. The same for the sunset. There are two spots for the Uluru for the sunset. One is the car park and one is the coach park. The coach park where only buses are allowed to park and the car park. So it's also getting pretty crowded. So make sure you will be there on time with your camera to make the stunning photos. But the main reason why people are coming here is because they want to do the walks. And I have done almost every walk. To be honest, it was 2 days and I'm exhausted, but it was definitely worth it. Although I'm not really a walking person. You can go walking by yourself or you can also join a free guided tour what they offer here, which is kind of interesting. At Kata Tjuṭa, for example, there are 2 to 3 different walks. For example, the Walpa Gorge, which is around about 2 kilometers. And then you also have the Valley of the Winds. Be careful, at the Valley of the Winds, you're not allowed to take photos or filming. So there are different lookouts. The first lookout is the Karu lookout. This is around about 2.2 kilometers. The way is, well, a little bit challenging, but it's a beautiful spot to see. Then after the Karu lookout, you can go until the Karangana lookout. This is another 5.4 kilometers round trip. I've done it. It's pretty challenging the way because you have to climb up. It's amazing. The view is really amazing. So you're climbing up, you're going over loose rocks, but it's absolutely amazing. If you want to do the full circuit, which I have done, is 7.4 kilometers in total, which is a lot, but it was really worth it. The good thing is that you find a lot of, well, 1 or 2 places where you can really sit underneath in the shade. You can fill up your drinking water bottle And this is very important for the walks, that you drink a lot of water and that you protect yourself with face cap or, well, sun protection, and that you wear very good shoes. I have done the full circuit and it was really worth it, but it was very exhausting for someone who is definitely not used to walk a lot. When you start the walks at the Kata Tjuṭa, there is a sunset viewing point where you also find some toilets. At Uluru, one of the most famous walks is the Mala Walk, which is very interesting. There is also a guided Mala Walk, what you can do. It's around about 2 kilometers round trip, and you can start at the Mala car park, where there's also a toilet, and then go to the Mala Walk. Another gorgeous walk is the Mutichulo Walk. This is a water hole, which is just 1 kilometer round trip from one of the car parks, and it's absolutely beautiful. Well, the most famous walks is actually the Uluru base walk, where you really go round the Uluru. It's more than 10 kilometers. I did it, and I've been walking on the, well, I call it the backside, the sensitive side, which is absolutely amazing. You are not allowed to take photos, but just seeing this with your own eyes is incredible. So also there you have a couple of spots where you can fill up your water bottle, where you can sit down in the shade and relax. You're not really alone because you're always meeting people around. There are a lot of Australian tourists. People are very nice. So it's absolutely worth it doing this walk. As you can see, there are so many things to do here. I've just stayed 3 days and I was hustling, doing a lot possible here, and I absolutely regret not staying longer. And I was really thinking about canceling my flight and staying longer, but I will come back. And I love this place. I fell in love with the Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park, and at the end I also wanted to say thank you to the Anango people. Thank you so much that we have the chance to visit this wonderful place, that you share this place with us, and I feel very grateful for this. Thank you so much, and I wish you guys an amazing trip to Uluru Kata Tjuṭa National Park. I hope these hints and tips helped you to organize your trip. And if you liked it, please thumb up. And as you can see, there are a lot of flies flying around. You can't imagine how many times I've been cut this video because of the flies. Well, yeah, I think a protection for the flies wouldn't be that bad. So enjoy!